Thanks, everyone. Amazing technology that we're seeing today. So I'm going to talk to you about my two favourite online teaching tools, H5P and Articulate 360. So I'll just share my screen. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to be talking about these two wonderful tools that I use every day. So I thought I'd start today just with talking about why I like them so much. So just give me 1 second to get this sorted. All right, so why do I like these technologies so much? I use them every day. They are fantastic tools. They keep my students engaged. They have changed my life as far as online learning goes. So let's have a look at what they are about. So H5P is an online learning tool. Well, actually, before I start, I might just ask you to add in the chat if you have used H5P or any of the Articulate 360 suites before. So would you mind just adding in the chat? Both? Never heard of it? Okay, H5P, yeah. I love it too. Learning, okay, fantastic. So hopefully I can help you today. Okay, so it looks like a lot of you have used H5P. Some of you have used Articulate. I can see someone just said something, they've signed up for free accounts before. I have too, quite a few of them when I was first starting out actually, and they do find you in the end. So be careful of signing up and using too many different emails. Okay, so what I'm going to start with today is H5P. So what is it, what's it about, and how can you use it to engage students and enhance your online learning? So firstly, H5P is an e-learning plugin tool for LMS. So it plugs into Moodle, Blackboard, and Canvas. So it can be embedded directly so that students, when they open up the LMS, they can see it on their screen. But you can also share links publicly. So that means that you can have a short activity, pop it into the chat, ask the students to go into a breakout room, for example, or a chat room, and they can work on it together. So it is interactive, and the activities themselves are really interactive. So I think there's 46 activities in total. And I've used a lot of them. I have my favorites, of course, but some better than others. So it does allow users, as I said, to work independently or in pairs. The content is very, very varied, and it allows flexible learning, synchronous learning, asynchronous learning activities. It also allows outside sources to be embedded. So you saw Russell talking about word wall before, and I have embedded that into quite a few of my H5P activities because it's really fun. Okay, activities can be reused, they can be edited. So this is probably my favorite thing about H5P, or one of them, is that it can be edited directly from the site, which is really nice. So moving on. So just if we have a look at some of the different activities, as I said, there's 46 in total. So that's a lot of different content types that you can use. 3 of the ones that I have used quite a lot, one is the interactive video. Course presentation is my favorite because that allows you to combine a lot of different activities into a course and the students can progress through it. Again, you can make it as interactive as you like. And it's good for collaborative activities as well. The branching scenario is a little bit different, I'd say, maybe a little complex to start with, but the good thing about H5P is that when you're working your way through it, there are lessons. So the lessons can can help you. They're step-by-step lessons. So the video guides, the tutorials they offer help you when you're first starting out using H5P. So you can also embed sources, as I said, and editing as well. A couple more activities. So these, I think, are some of the ones that are really useful for language learning. So you've got things like drag the words, and I'll show you, I've got a few examples to show you. Fill in the blanks, of course, flashcards, find the words is really fun. To be honest, the variety is what's so good. One of the things that are so good about H5P, because students love the variety, and the feedback I get from some of the activities has been fantastic. So moving on, course presentation. So these are 4 examples that I'm going to give you that I've used in H5P. The first one is a course presentation, and I'll just share that with you now. As I said, it's probably the one I use most. And you can see it's nice and clean, and you can give your instructions. This is just the first slide. You add text and pictures separately. So the first thing I've done for this particular activity is I have added a short video, and this is followed by questions that the students have to answer on the video. So for this kind of activity, the actual video was only a couple of minutes long. It was 1.1 minute, 1 minute 12. So this activity that I've added is called a single multiple choice, and you can see I've said there are 5 questions for the students to answer. For this kind of activity, using this particular question type, it is nice to tell the students how many questions there are, because I'll show you what happens. Okay, so the students, the questions move across the screen, so it's nice to let them know before. Otherwise, they just tend to answer one question and move to the next slide. Okay, here I've got another video, but this one is an interactive video. So you can see it's on quite a dry topic for some people. I like referencing, but not everybody does. So what I've done is, you can see these dots at the bottom. This is where the students need to stop and to answer a question. And you can add many, many different question types. So for example, here, I've added a missing words. So they've listened to the video up to here, and they have to answer the question. The second question, I think, in this particular activity was
to find the reference for an in-text.
Okay, so that's another gap fill. And I've got a summary.
Ask the librarian.
Okay, and there's a summary at the end. So as I said, when you begin organising this or developing this activity, there are a lot of choices of question types. Okay, this one here is an example where sometimes I think it's nice just to add a link. And for something like this activity where they're going to have a look at the APA 7 guide, I don't want to spend all my time redoing that guide. So they can just go to the link and again, answer a question about it. All right, another link there. Okay, when it comes to vocab, there's a lot of different activities you can use as well. So this is one where I've given them the words first, and I've said, check your understanding. Some of the students may know me pretty well, and they know that I'm going to check that they know what the meaning is. So I've added 2 activities here to check that they know what the meaning is. So this one is just a simple dragging activity where they have to match the word and the meaning. And when they work through it, they can check their answers. As teachers, part of the development stages, you have the option to show the solution immediately, or let the students wait until they've tried they've completed the activity. For this one, I think I was nice and I let them go through it and check before they finish. All right, this one is another gap fill, but because there's quite a lot of information there, it also allows you to give them a little hint, or you can give them a bigger hint if you want. So I've just given them the first letter, or they need 2 words to help them through it. So now they're prepared, and there's a summary at the end saying how they went. So they can have a look, they can retry. You can reuse this as many times as you like. So the course presentation, I would use a couple of times a week, depending on what I'm doing. And you can make it fairly easily. So if you're using links, maybe, for example, the students have an issue with past perfect or linkers, you can do a slide, make a nice cover, give them a link, and then create a couple of activities. So it's very useful, and the students find it really helpful. All right, and another example here is just a gap fill. This is a standalone activity. Again, you can do these up once you learn how to do them. They don't take a lot of time to do up. So this probably took me maybe a couple of minutes. So this is from an old assignment of mine, and they just need to type in the articles. They can check it. And again, with these little activities, it's nice to put them in pairs, put them in a breakout room, for example, and say, okay, you've got 5 minutes, and off you go, and come back and report, or we can drop in and see how they're doing. So that's another standalone activity that I like, and I think is really useful. Mark the words, again, another different type of activity that you can give to students. This is click on individual words. Oh, I meant to fix that. Okay, so again, you can show the solution, and this one probably took me a couple of minutes as well. So some of the H5P activities are short and sweet, and other ones are a little bit more time consuming. And I'll show you one of these. This is called an interactive book. And you can see it looks really nice. Now with the embedding, what you can do is you can get the embed code from this when you develop it or when you publish it, and then you can put it directly into a label, for example, or you can put it into your LMS. So when the students open the LMS, they see this nice picture. Right, and you can see here, they've got an index down the side. This is a nice way for the teacher to say, okay, for example, we've done paraphrasing today. This might be the week of the weekly work. We've done paraphrasing, so what I want you to do is do the first activity. And you'll see in a minute that I've been able to add a lot of different activities here for paraphrasing, reading, and key vocabulary. So this is a paraphrasing activity where the students I've asked them to write their answers, just short form answers, and I can check it or they can bring it to class. Okay, I've taken a reading and a paraphrase, and I've used something called an accordion here. So they look at the different paraphrases one at a time, and then they have to decide which one's the best. So again, it's just varying the activities and keeping them engaged. A little opinion one, which did you think is better? And you can give feedback as well. So I've said, no, this was too close to the original. So they're getting that immediate feedback as well, which is nice. So another writing one there. As you can see, we've moved on to key vocabulary. So I've said, again, look at the words. I like to get them to check the words before we actually go on to the activities. But here I've added flip cards, which is another activity type in the H5 suite. So they're going to look at that. And then I've added a matching activity. And I believe this matching activity might be from Word Wall. So I've embedded that into the H5P. Okay, another reading, and I've said bring it to class and share with me. Again, after every H5P activity, the students get a summary, and if it is in an LMS, the teachers can track how they've gone and whether they've finished as well. So that's H5P in a nutshell, I suppose. As I said, I use it a lot. And the feedback from the students is really good. But I do have one final tip. Okay, in many of the H5P activities, so in the gap fills, in the mark the words, for example, they want you to use an asterisk. So that was one of the answers in the gap fill. So to make sure the students can't see it, you can use the asterisk. Just be careful that the asterisk has to be really close to the beginning and ending of the word, or it won't work. All right, so the good things about embedding and editing in H5P, as I said, it can be directly edited into your LMS. You can embed videos, YouTubes, all sorts of activities like WordWall from other sites. You can edit it many times as you like, which is really, really good, I think. And the editing is saved and updated when pages are refreshed. So if I edit the original, it doesn't matter where I've put it or what link I've put it on, that change will happen automatically on the others. All right, so let's move on to, it's called Articulate 360. And what this is a suite of tools. So it includes a variety of tools and they interact together. And you can also have a look and see if they're shown on phones or tablets or laptops. So just a quick look at the main Articulate 360 apps. Rise is a web authoring tool. So everything you do on Rise, it's called Articulate Rise or Rise, it is on the web. So it's directly online. It comes with a lot of templates. In my opinion, I think it's really beautiful. When you do it, you feel very professional the first time you have created an Articulate Rise, because it comes with templates, which is one of the great things about it. It looks smooth and professional when you've developed it. Studio is another one, and Studio, so there are all these apps, they're all different colors, but they come complete with the suite. Presenter is quite amazing as well. It allows you to animate and add voiceovers to your PowerPoints. Quizmaker is a variety of quizzes, again, templates or not. Storyline 360 it's interactive, but it's when you download it, it's a SCORM material often. You can download it, which means it's a zip. So you have to download it and then upload it to your LMS, which means that every time you want to make an edit, you probably need to delete it and re-upload it again. But having said that, it has so much potential. So you can build interactions, you can personalize what you create, you can add characters, all sorts of things. So the thing about the Articulate 360 apps is it comes with a huge content library. So there are characters, there are people you can use, videos, backgrounds. It's really huge. Replay is video editing, which is a bit tricky when you first start. I've edited it, made a few errors as I've gone along, but never mind. And Peak is that screen capture. So you can see that Articulate 360 covers a lot of different areas in e-learning. So let's just have a look at an example or two. So the first example I'm going to show you is from Articulate Rise. And you'll see that you can personalize the experience. So this is just a small activity, but I've given them instructions here. I've really talked to them. They can see what they're going to do before they start, and they can click on here, but I like it when you start like that. All right, so you can see the background is from the content library that they provide. And then you just work your way through the different activities. So here I've got a video on academic writing style. It was quite long, so I've edited into 2 parts and I've added questions after it. So the first part, again, this is an activity that comes in the templates. So it's nice and interactive, and I've had really good feedback about a lot of the activities that come with Articulate 360. So this is me. You can add continue anywhere you like or not. I seem to like it. All right, the second part is part 2 of the video. And again, these all come as part of Articulate Rise. You can add them. There's a bar on the left-hand side that gives you a huge choice of what you want to add. So you can submit that. You can add feedback as well as you're going along. So I've got a couple of multiple choices as well. Okay, and a short answer. All right, keywords from this week. So I've moved, you can see now this has got a tick. The students are able to see, okay, I've completed that activity. So they're seeing the progression as they go, which is something I think they really appreciate. So you can see this is the Word Wall site, and I'll show you the whole thing. But quite easy to embed. And I've taken quite a, not a very exciting idea and tried to make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, but I'll leave that. All right, this is the third part. Again, this part I'm having with students, I'm sort of scaffolding an activity, which is an assessment activity. So I've said, are you ready? So I'm talking to the students through this, and then I'm going to give them a video, a quick question, and then I really want them to think about, are they ready for their assignment? So I've given them a checklist. And again, it's part of the Articulate Rise project. So then they can see they're finished, they're ready, hopefully, for the next week. All right, I have one more example to show you, and this is from Storyline 360. I think Storyline 360 can be a little bit more complicated to start with, and it really is more of an e-learning tool, but it allows you to really build personalization into an activity. So this is the first one I've organized, and as I said, it's a little bit more complex. This one is just welcome to the unit. We're really happy to have you, but you'll see it kind of moves and it's interactive here. So I've taken a unit outline and I've tried to highlight the different points, but again, just keep it short, bite-sized, so that students are always clicking and moving. That's my idea. Right, this one here, I haven't actually showed you this one because this is Miriam and I haven't asked her if I could share it, but I've added Miriam as a welcome to the course video. Thank you, Miriam. These are 2 of the characters that I've downloaded, and I'm going to use them a few times throughout the rest of this activity just to personalize it a bit as well. So you can see they've just got a few FAQs there. Okay, and again, I've kept the same characters and I'm asking them questions. So this one I've got it right. So I've been able to just change her stance a bit. Okay, so she's really happy. This guy, he's looking pretty serious. He really wants the answer. And again, you can add any of these different poses that are given in the actual character templates. So again, I prefer a smile. So there we go. Okay, new words again. So this is just in the Articulate suite. Okay, you're adding the activity. And finally, we've got the 2 characters just saying, here, remember these points. So that's another storyline activity. And I'll just show you one more quickly. I think I have time for one more. No, that's the same one. Okay, I'll leave that one for now. A few final points: editing and embedding in Articulate Storyline or Rise. It can be added to LMS, but as I said, you can either add it as a link, you can share the links, you can publish it. You can publish it for feedback from people in the community. So if you're game, it can be reviewed. So there's a particular site there where you can review it. You can edit it more than once, but unless it's a link, that edit won't save and you'll have to reload it. So just as a conclusion and a bit of a summary between the two, I really like them both. I think they're both amazing programs, and I use them for different styles. But first, the content, as you've seen, both of them have a huge amount of content. H5P is particularly activity-based, whereas Articulate, I think, is more, you can build any content you want inside of it. You can edit, record. So it's got all those extra apps that you can use. There's no template for H5P, but there are step-by-step activities. It really steps you through from add a text all the way through to the end of everything you want to do. There's a variety of templates, or you can build from scratch in the Articulate suite. Learning, examples and videos, as I said, there's videos, webinars here, but there's also a huge Articulate community. And every week they have a different challenge. And that's on something called eLearning Heroes. So eLearning Heroes is a place where you can get templates that other people have made, you can ask questions, and you can see a lot of examples. So I think when I first started with Articulate 360, I spent a lot of time just looking at other people's examples and being amazed at what you could do. There is online help available for H5P as well. The good thing, free trial for both. I think it's a 30-day free trial for H5P and 60 for Articulate 360. My advice would be, don't sign up for a trial unless you've got a little bit of time up your sleeve, because it runs out really quickly. And as I said earlier, I have tried a couple of different emails, and I got a lovely email from the Articulate 360 people saying, you know, do you want to buy? So that was interesting. Publishing directly to LMS, or you can share the link, and there are different alternatives with SCORM. So with 360, you can package it, you can web PDF. I would recommend when you have a time, if you're really interested in these two programs, to definitely trial them, probably one after the other, because it's amazing what you can do with them. And the students, as I said, the feedback's been fantastic and the students really love it. So I'm not sure if there are any questions. What does it cost? Erica, that's a really good question. So after the trial's over with Articulate 360, it really depends on whether you're going to buy it as an individual or whether where you work is going to buy it. So if you're going to buy it as an individual, I believe it's about $1,000 a year, but you can also buy it as a team and you can share what's called seats, and that lowers the cost. With H5P, I believe it's about $75 a month for an individual, but they have a yearly subscription as well. So it's worth looking into and talking to them. You can definitely, Vicky, upload your own content, images, videos, screencasts with both of them. I think they both allow editing, embedding or uploading as well. Okay, with Adobe, I have most of my accounts for Articulate and for Adobe and H5P, because it's a plugin for our LMS. I'm lucky enough not to have to pay for them at this point in time. Okay, with using Articulate, I think the first thing is to really have a look at that trial. Log on, have a look, and go to eLearning Heroes, because it's incredible. And look at the challenges in particular. I would start with the most recent and work your way back. But again, there's webinars as well on the Articulate suite, and they have tutorials and a whole lot of different learning activities to do. So I would say have a download the free trial and get started. I use H5P in class probably more than Articulate. For a synchronous class particularly, I like to use H5P to put pairs into a chat room, for example, and have them work on something, or review the week's topics together and come back. Articulate, I think it's not for homework. I do use it for homework and review, but I use it also as an asynchronous learning tool and a synchronous learning tool. Yeah, but I think Articulate sometimes can be more of an independent tool, whereas H5P is really good for collaborative work. Did you share Storyline or Rise? I did share Storyline and Rise. I've shared a different Storyline, which is on the PowerPoint. You can access quiz results if it is embedded into the LMS. Sorry, I think I'm out of time, Sophie. So yeah, thank you everyone. It's been lovely to be here.